This is Trophy Gold, where the wheat grows tall, part three. It's the holidays, so we're down a couple players, but that's okay. The last we saw, the three characters we had last time, who were Tove, Rose, and Talia, you all had gone to the ferry side of the Plotnikov's farm, the ferry side of the wall that's there, and you began exploring. You have intuited, using the map that you have, the old soldiers map, that perhaps the treasure of the old soldiers is somewhere in a northwesterly direction. And so you were following the cutout path for a time, or one of the cutout paths, and then at some point you decided to go ahead and just cut north through the wheat to try to short circuit the process a little bit. And the last thing we saw is the three of you being confronted by a sort of scarecrow man coming out of the tall wheat. And here I will say that the two of you look around in your lantern light, you know, slinging it around, and you don't see Tove anymore. Tove has disappeared in the wheat stalks somewhere, leaving the two of you by yourselves to fend against this scarecrow thing. I'll describe the scarecrow thing for you again too. Find it here on the little module. Its mouth is sewed shut. It has button eyes. There are crops growing from inside the chest, and it's just sort of like you can see that it's either the tips of its fingers or something along those lines has been replaced by sharpened like bits of wood, making sort of claws. And I will give you both a chance to deal with this in one of several ways. You can try to run away, go back to the path, or you can combat this thing, or you can, if you get a little bit of space from it, which it moves fairly slowly, it's kind of like, you know, stumbles around, you can do a ritual or something similar to dispatch it. So what do we think?
Well, I have a ritual that might be useful, but I need a quick reminder of we were still going after we were following the map at this point. We were not focused on rescuing the girl completely at this point, right?
Yeah,
Or
you know that you kind of lost track of where the girl went,
right.
as I recall. You knew that she had gone at least to, there was like a split that went north and the one that went west, and
Hmm.
she got at least to that split.
Yep.
And so you all decided to go west. And you followed that for a bit, and you ran into Nikolai Plotnikov, who was tied to a yoke, and then uh, and he's like in love with this being called the Noon Lady. And then you decided to cut north. It's dark right now. You're cutting north through the wheat field to sort of bypass, to basically short circuit to get to where you think the soldier's treasure is, right?
Yep.
So,
Okay. Yeah, I can certainly try my hollow ability to push the animus out of the scarecrow.
I think that's a terrific idea. If you don't have any objections, Rose, I think we can go for that.
Not at all.
So you'll have to kind of like get a little bit of distance, but you can sort of like jump back, you know, get a few paces away, because it does move in this sort of like herky jerky, like kind of, you know, gangly sort of way. It's kind of slow.
Yep.
So I love that. You've already described what you want to accomplish. Jake, any thoughts on what could go wrong here if the die roll fails?
I don't know. I almost think like it isn't completely successful. You like half push the spirit out, but that gives it some sort of almost like mutation or changes it in a way that's more dangerous to us.
That's interesting. I'm going to keep it pretty simple and just say that it doesn't work and you have to combat the thing. So, but I like Jake's idea as well. I'll ponder it. In any case, let's talk about dice. So Talia, do you have a relevant skill or piece of equipment for this ritual?
Well, I have probably not. I have omens, but I don't think that really applies here. I wouldn't
Yeah.
think so.
You might have something from your backpack equipment if you wanted to look around through there. If you pull down your slots, if you could make a case for using something from your equipment in the ritual, that will work.
Let me see. You know, this might be a good time to, because I don't have torches listed on my sheet. I know somebody else pulled torches as an option, but this might be a good chance to burn a hole in this thing for the creature to escape, and then we'd have a way to burn down the fields too if we needed to get out.
Okay, I like it. That's
So
good.
I'm gonna take the torches.
Okay, I love it. Fantastic. So you have one light die. Let's talk about your second light die, Devil's Bargain. Reminder, a Devil's Bargain is something that will happen no matter what, whether you succeed or fail. And both Jake and I can make an offer and you can accept or reject them as you wish, or accept one of them or reject them both. I'm still thinking, Jake, so if you have an idea, go for it.
I was gonna say no matter what, like the spirits in the area are gonna be angered by this or aware of us.
I'm going to say that no matter what, um, no matter what, I'm going to go kind of like a weird, but also kind of hard in a way. No matter what, Talia, you feel compelled to, you will feel compelled to crawl up to high places to look down, kind of like a scarecrow.
I'm really liking that one. Let's go with the obsession with high places. That sounds
You,
like a great condition to have.
you have 2 light dice, and you have to do a dark die for the ritual. So if you want to hop over to the Discord and punch in risk 2-1.
Risks. Oh, sorry. So it'd be /risk 2 / 1. And we see what happens. I have a 5 on the dark dice, so my ruin goes up 1 if I'm not mistaken.
It does indeed, but you do succeed. There's a bit of a complication. I think the complication is going to be that the method which you're choosing to do this with actually sets the surrounding wheat on fire, and you have a little conflagration you have to get away from. You have to basically, I think you basically can't go back. You have to keep going forward through the wheat. If you would like
Definitely
to
not a
avoid,
problem.
yeah, you can't actually roll again. However, if you want to try for the 6, Rose can help. So and if Rose rolls a 6, then you'll have a 6 instead. But it's up to Jake. So
I was gonna say Rose could try to set down her bear trap, almost like trying to make it an easier target.
oh yeah, that sounds kind of cool. How would you be vulnerable as you help?
I feel like I'd be vulnerable because I'd be right into things like grasps, and probably a burning torch as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you accept that help, Merwin?
I won't turn it down, but I will point out the odds are slim.
The odds are 1 in 6. Yeah,
They definitely are.
but also it's only a 1 in 6 chance of getting hurt too. So it's it's kind of like a fair shot, right? Take it away. Roll. You just have to roll weak to get your result. Okay, it's
That's
4. So
4.
it doesn't help, but you also don't get any ruin. So let's just have the scene though. So it's your move, Talia. So take it away. What does this look like?
Okay.
You do stop. You do banish the spirit. Okay.
So Talia begins her ritual and sparks a torch aflame, and she backs away from the creature and then loops around it, creating a half circle of fire to sort of guide it in one direction, and then runs around it to the open side, and then hits it with the spell so that hits it with the ritual so that the spirit passes through the flame and is extinguished. and the wheat itself collapses in a pile and begins to burn.
Nice. The wheat is catching fire. It's catching fire and spreading essentially in a semicircle around the direction you came from. So you are being forced to sort of like press forward essentially through the wheat. And unless you want to take a chance to try to put the fire out, you can totally do that too. But if you don't want to bother with that, you want to just run, you can just run. The man who was in this state, whatever was done to him, the spirit was just keeping him alive. He's dead. There's whatever it was the only thing that's making him alive, and so he's just a corpse now. What do? You don't have a lot of time here, Rose.
I guess Rose would be interested in trying to find some kind of identifying mark, because she thinks that this could be
Peter.
Yeah, she thinks it could be Piotr. I don't know if there was something, like identifying that he might have on him.
I mean, I think all of he has the same like kind of sort of flaxen colored hair as the little girl, so that might be a good clue.
Oh, great. Okay, she's gonna internalize that, and she's like, all right, I feel good about that. And yeah, press on through the wheat with Talia.
All right, and just fingers crossed for Tove. Okay, good. You press forward a little bit. You get the fire behind you. You can kind of see it still kind of glowing behind you as you go a little ways. It's still dark. It's still night out in this sort of strange temporal twisty space. And the wheat eventually lets you out onto another path, another clear-cut path. This clear-cut path goes east and west. If you look to the west, you can see that the fire has sort of burned over in that direction. And the fire has set. You wouldn't be able to see it in the dark, but you can see it on fire. There appears to be like a large old tower, a siege tower, because it's made of wood, an old siege tower from the war that took place here, going up in flames presently to the west. That is maybe something you can go investigate, but it's on fire. So basically your choices are, do you press forward through the wheat, or do you take the clear-cut path to the east, or do you want to go towards the conflagration towards the west? Let's just have that scene with the two of you.
Yeah, so to the west is where the map had the X, if I'm not mistaken, right?
The northwest. So you don't know if you've gone far enough north yet.
North.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, so my first reaction is, well, I hope that treasure was buried. But at least we have a clear path back to the fence.
I guess we do. That's if we don't get swallowed by the flames as well.
Well, by the time it reaches the fence, it will have burned out where we are, is my expectation. So we just need to make sure we follow the ashes.
Should we look at that tower? We are looking for a treasure that soldiers buried.
Yes, I think at this point that might be better. If the wind changes, the fresh wheat will be, or the fresh field will be where it will burn. And right now, moving toward the ash is safer.
I agree. Guess we head off towards that tower.
Heading towards the tower. Very good. Here will be a good time, now that you're sort of in the clear from the scarecrow, to check in with the characters. So right now, Rose, you have your 3 burdens. You have 4 gold worth of money, so your burdens are met. You have 4 hunt roll tokens as well. You're doing really well. You do have 4 ruin, however. You also have the condition, the Spirit of Torbold, which may come into play later. And Talia, you have 2 burdens, 1 gold, 1 token, and 3 ruin. And the condition is going to be, what did we decide? Like looking down from high places? Yeah. compelled to look, like looking down from high places. You can describe that however you want in your own words, but that's what it is. So the Sekul on the western half of the field, out of character, this is the western half of the field. There's an eastern half. The western half of the field set goal is to find the tunnels beneath the field. Find the entrance to the tunnels. So you're heading down the path, getting closer to the fire. And you do eventually reach it.
So how much on fire is this siege? Is this tower?
By the time you get there, it's fully on fire.
Well, I can't really climb up there in its state. I wish I'd come here earlier, but
Yeah,
maybe there'll be
perhaps.
something left of it for me to, maybe the main shaft will still be there.
Indeed. So this was a memento of the old war. If you'll recall, there was a war that took place here, and you have a map from that time that you're following. It's not a well-detailed map, but it is a map nevertheless. There is, it's just a skeleton of wood that is now on fire. The wheat in this area, even before the fire, was stunted and withered. And does one of you have any sort of connection or specialty in the spirit realm?
I have omens, but that's about it.
I think you will, let's see here. I will tell you that you both sense that there is something here, something old. You are not alone. Rose, what do you do?
Something old. We're not alone. Her first instinct would be to try to like hide herself or like be as like sneaky as possible.
Not
don't
many
know,
places to hide with the stunted
yeah,
field and the fire
the
all around.
fire.
Yeah. You're a little stuck as far as that goes.
Indeed. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested in if using I have the scent ritual, using my olfactory sense to navigate in like complete darkness. Even though it's not dark, would she be able to like close her eyes and try to
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
pinpoint where
Yeah,
this thing might be?
I think it's in the spirit of it for sure. I don't need to roll. I think it's enough just for you to describe it. I will tell you that I do want to know what the ritual looks like though. How do you like go into this state? What does that look like?
Yeah. So normally she would just like kind of close her eyes and like concentrate really hard and sniff, but I don't know, this newfound spirit almost influences her nose now. When the ritual's cast, she like closes her eyes like normal, but her nose takes on a more like piggish snout almost. And she's sort of like kind of like a metal detector, just going back and forth until she lands on the general direction where the thing could be.
I like it. Make a hunt roll with 2 dice.
That is a 4.
You take a token and you discover something, encounter something terrible, and I'll tell you whatever I want to tell you. I'll tell you this. You smell the bones of the dead. Those bones of the dead are catching fire, but they are, you can smell it. I'll also tell you that there's a Sekul here for the tower. The Sekul is, I'll find it real quick. My notes. learn how to make the dead soldiers your allies. You can smell the bones. And I think this sort of Fey realm, this being the Fey realm, I think everything works a little differently. I think magic is enhanced, and you will even smell the spirits of these dead soldiers. Like, that's who's here with you. They're here. They seem mostly indifferent to the fact that the siege tower is on fire. So what are you doing in the meantime, Talia?
Well, Talia's continued reaction at the, someone's watching us. Well, you can't really see into the flames. You can't really see into the dark, so I guess she'll look up and hopefully see something. But when she realizes either from Rose or eventually that there are spirits here, were these? You said these soldiers had something to do with the tower itself?
Yeah, I mean, there was this war that took place
Mhm.
centuries ago, right? And these are just the soldiers that were left from that war. Their spirits haven't moved on. And this siege tower is probably something, a relic from that war. And so maybe because of its familiarity, they're hanging out here. Right? So,
All right. Is there any equipment around the tower or other structures in the area besides the tower, or is the tower the only remaining structure of note?
make a hunt roll.
Okay. Let's see. Are any skills applicable is the question. I
Or
have
equipment.
forensics, but I think that's more bodies and stuff like that. Surgery, herbs. I don't think anything really applies. So it's just a hunt one.
Unless you have a piece of equipment that would help you.
Ooh, forgot about. I always forget about the equipment part. I'm going to use my mirror to reflect the flames to look into dark places.
Okay, good. I like that. Make a 2 dice hunt roll.
I have a 4.
Take your token. You don't see any equipment or anything like that. Anything that the soldiers might have had would have withered away. And before this siege tower caught on fire, you would have also seen that it itself was quite withered away too. Probably why it caught on fire so easily. I will tell you, however, I'll give you some more information about the scene. The fire basically stops here because the field around the tower was kind of clear cut, and the tower, the fire sort of catches the tower on fire, but there's nothing else to catch on fire. So at least on this end, the fire will stop. And I'll also tell you that there is a path that continues on beyond the tower. Like, it's the same path that you're on, but it keeps going in a westerly direction. So you're supposed to encounter something terrible too, but something terrible is just you not finding anything otherwise useful or helpful. So, Rose, what do you do right now?
Rose is gonna turn to Talia and let her know that I smell spirits. They smell like dust. They're not the best, but they're here. They don't seem angry about the tower burning. They feel like they're connected with the land and the area here. Have you found anything?
I have not. Smelling spirits seems like quite a useful talent to have, especially in this place. Can you tell if they mean ill towards us?
They seem kind of passive right now. Um, but are you able to talk to them? Did your, I don't know, church or anything do anything like that before?
That is an interesting question. I mostly dealt with the living and not the dead, in the sense that I tried to keep people alive, but I did learn some meager skill in ensuring that the dead were properly dispatched. But I'm not sure that's relevant here.
I'm sure that skill
Not in the
also
same way, at least not in the same way we dealt with the scarecrow.
would say I hope that skill also came with proficiency in burning wheat.
Yes, we do like our fire.
Well, I guess we can try to seek one out and talk to it. There are some old bones that one might be hanging around those.
I will
Don't
say
go
at this point, as you're having this conversation, you will see standing all around the tower as if it were a bonfire. You see a number of men and women wearing armor and weapons on their hips, bearing regalia and sort of identifying marks that you don't recognize. And you can see through them. They are slightly translucent, and they're standing around the tower as if it was a bonfire, and they're just looking up and watching it burn. Rose, what do you do?
Well, I mean, they look like people, so Rose is gonna talk to them like people. Just kind of like approach one. Um, just like the closest one and say, excuse me, can you hear me?
The soldier, a man, he turns to you and says, "Yes, I can hear you."
Oh, my name's Rose. What's your name?
He says, "It has been so long since anyone spoke it, or that I have thought it, that I must say I don't remember. The only thing I recall is that we were here fighting a great war. And now we are here trying to avoid being taken from this place."
Being taken by your enemy, or is there another force?
There are many forces in this place. There is a war going on even now, though it is not our war. We are neutral observers. But we do have our enemy. And he looks in the direction of the path that continues on past the siege tower. He says, "Our enemy is black as shadow and as hungry as death, and it awaits us down that way."
What does it want?
And he says, "The enemy wishes to pluck us from this land and take us to their inky realm below. We would not leave here, though we have no war to fight. We at least can maintain our oath to stand guard here. We would be here." He says, "We have been here for hundreds of years, and we would be here hundreds more, but the enemy would remove us."
Rose just kind of like, because she grew up as a farmer, so she just kind of turns to Talia. It's like, any of this make sense to you? Like just giving an incredulous look.
Talia will speak up. Do you seek rest here? Do you seek an end to your travels here? Or do you want to leave this place?
At this point, I would like for you both, I'd like a hunt roll. Just one of you needs to roll it, but I'll give you 2 dice since you're both sort of tag teaming the question.
Okay.
Whoever wants to roll it, go for it.
I guess I can. I rolled the last one. I'm happy to pass it on, but if you want me to, I'll roll it.
I can roll this one.
Okay, go ahead.
That's a 3.
That's an encounter something terrible. While you're having this conversation, trying to figure out what the soldiers want, one of the other soldiers standing around this burning effigy now, I guess, this siege tower, they scream. They go, ah, ah, brothers and sisters, I can feel it. The enemy is here. And that person disappears. And a crow comes flying out of the burning wreckage. And the crow has in its beak a wispy, wailing spirit, for lack of a better way of putting it. It's just wailing and screaming in the beast's beak as it flies off. The one soldier looks at you and says, "Do you see now what we are up against? They pluck our spirits from the bones."
They can't pluck your spirits from the bones if your bones are buried, can they?
They cannot. But now we have this new set of circumstances, he says, looking up at the burning siege tower. How will this affect things? Well, certainly it did not scare the creature from going in and doing its work.
What if I guess Rose turns more to Talia. Do you think we could bury their bones? I feel like these soldiers, surely they might know something about what we're looking for.
Is there an opportunity when the crow is flying away to try to do anything about it, or is it just away too fast?
No, it's too fast. If you'd rolled better, I might have given you a shot at something like that. But
Got it. No worries. No worries.
okay.
Talia is visibly frustrated at the crow and the circumstance that she's in at the moment. She'll sort of she'll wave her torch in frustration. Of course, we will do the last rites for you. If that will help put you at rest, we will do it.
One of the soldiers, a woman, calls over to you from across the way, and she says, "What is to stop the birds from simply digging up our bones again, or from whispering into the ears of other passers-by to dig them up? They are very clever. Would it not be wiser to take the fight to the enemy ourselves?"
Have you ever seen a bird dig? They don't use shovels.
Is it always a crow?
And here at this point, you will see in the dim ambient light from the fire, in the light from the moon, you will see a massive, you hear the cawing and see a swirl of a murder of crows in the distance down that path.
I think the answer is yes. I'm gonna, are the bones localized? Are they easy to locate based on where the spirits are standing?
They're in the siege tower. You will have to basically brave the burning siege tower to get to them.
Okay. And of course, the crows get to go do it for free. All right.
Crows
Yeah.
are brave.
The soldier that you've been talking to says, "Friend, we do not wish to leave this world. We do not wish to pass on. We wish to stay here and maintain our watch.
If you are bound to this place, you are easy pickings for the crows. Perhaps if you have some mobility with us, we can help you stay away from them, ahead of them.
They all seem to confer for a little bit. And they come back after a time, and they say, very well, we will try your plan, but who will go in to fetch the bones?
Rose kind of like, well, it was my idea. I can.
Well, we should find a way to see if there is anything that we can use to keep ourselves safe from the fire as we try to recover the bones.
I will say here that you've met the Sekol, so
Oh.
if you can do this, it will work. They will be your allies.
Yeah, we don't have. There's nothing easy to get at that will help tamp
Okay.
down the fire. So it will simply be sort of a moving rapidly around the flames or trying to avoid them or using some sort of long-armed thing, a stick of wood or something to drag them towards us.
Mhm.
I'm not thinking of anything else that we might be able to use.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, Rose has like that really nice spade. I know it's like a gold, but it's like a thing that could be
Oh, that's
used to
right.
throw dirt, bury bones or something.
Yeah.
So Rose, it sounds like you're going into the conflagration. This is very
Mhm.
dangerous. I think that's great. I will tell you just sort of specifically, you just need to get the skulls. You don't need all the bones.
Nice.
And yeah, risk roll. What could go wrong here, Merwin?
Besides Rose catching on fire,
I think that's as bad as it can be. So yeah.
do we have any rope between? Rope doesn't even do any good. Holy cow! And there's no water in any of your backpack stuff. I just looked.
There's musk, but
You would need
Yeah, I think
huge
musk
amounts
is
of it anyway, so I don't think it even really,
no, but it would be enough to like, slow down the burning. So
I think the worst that can happen here is Rose dies in the fire.
yeah.
So
Well, no, actually, there is one thing that might be worse, and that is that the tower could collapse, making the bones impossible to recover.
and that's pretty interesting too. Yeah. Okay. Well, so we got a lot of horrible outcomes. Rose, let's talk about your dice.
Thanks.
Do you have a relevant skill or piece of equipment using your shovel, I guess, or anything else?
yeah, probably the shovel, because like I could see hunting maybe, but I feel like that's more for like prey rather than things that are already dead. So I'll use the shovel.
So I would like to propose, because you've got a significant amount of tokens, and I would be happy to contribute a token to this effort. We could spend 3 and get them.
No, you've met the set goal already. The
Oh.
set goal is just to learn
Mhm.
how. You've done that.
Oh, so you
Mhm.
still have to do it.
Just gotta do it, yeah.
Dang.
Dang, we gotta follow through.
What a terrible GM. All right.
That's the way it
Oh,
goes
wait, I
sometimes.
said that out loud. All right.
Yeah, so shovel. Think that'll be the best bet.
You got one light die. Let's talk about devil's bargains. Things that will happen no matter what. I'm going to say no matter what, the spirit of Torbold manifests inside the conflagration.
Uh,
I like bacon. Um
No other
no
offers?
matter
Or
what. Oh my gosh, no matter what. Uh, everything I think of is way too mean.
No matter what you immolate.
No. That's too easy. When I come up with stuff, it's like horrible things that just keep you alive. Um, let's do no matter what. The captain of the guard gets taken by the crows.
Okay. So what do you think?
I'd be interested in how terrible the spirit of Torvald would be
Okay.
in here. Get like a fireworks show or something.
All right, well then 2 light, 1 dark. Go for it. The dark is because you're running into a fire.
What? No way. Wait, I don't think I did that right. It's /hunt 2 1,
no, risk
right?
2-1.
Risk 2 1. There we go. That is a 3.
3. Woof. So I need to check the rules because I can't remember if a tie counts as higher or not. Because you would have to stop if that is it. So
Is there anything I can do to help?
Possibly, but I want to check the rule real fast to make sure
Okay.
because I can't remember if a tie counts for, because basically you got a light 3 and a dark 3. And I don't know if that counts as the dark being highest or not. I could probably just ask Jesse real quick and get a ruling, but I'll try to look it up in the rules and not bother him. So give me a moment.
That's fair.
It's a rule I can never remember. I literally forget this all the time. I feel like I look this up every time I play. I always forget. Let's see here. It's a very important rule right now, though. At this precise moment, it's extremely important. So let's take a look. Having to go to the Trophy Dark PDF real fast. I'll pause the video so people don't have to wait for me to do this. Okay, so according to the rules, when the dark and light die are tied, the dark die is considered the highest. That means it is a fail, unless Talia helps and gets higher than a 3. So Talia, how are you, if you're helping, how are you vulnerable?
Talia is going to try and she has to step in to help navigate, but she is helping to navigate. This is where it's clear, this is where it's not, because when you're wandering through fire, you can only see, so much.
I love it. Roll weak.
All right.
Damn. It's a 1. Wow. I'll take over. This is going so badly. It's so bad. One thing, it's intensely hot. You can't even stay in there very long. The pieces of the siege tower are burning and collapsing. They're falling down. You're having to bat them away from and they're landing all around you. This is happening within seconds. This is maybe not the best plan ever. You eventually have to run because the whole thing comes down. It comes crashing down. The 2 of you don't take any ruin because mechanically you didn't take any ruin, but you run out. The tower collapses and we just see the wispy spirits of the soldiers rising up in the air from the embers, wailing as the crows pick them out of the air. Basically, the crows just swoop in and grab them out of the air. You hear the soldiers wailing as they do so, the cawing of the crows, the roar of the fire, the terrible ghostly wail of the soldiers, this horrible like "Boo!" And eventually all is quiet. The soldiers are gone. The crows are quiet. And there's just the dying embers of the fire in front of you. Let's take a 5-minute break now. Everything is as I described, but now it's quite suddenly morning. The sun is rising in the sky. The embers of the fire are completely dead. It's just ash now. You see the scorched bones. The soldiers are gone. I will tell you that the path west continued on a little bit past the siege tower. And now that it's daytime, you can actually see it doesn't go much further, just like another, I don't know, few hundred paces maybe. And you'll see, you can see the wall, what must be the western side of the wall that way. So it does stop. And there's a little clearing near the wall where there appears to be some sort of like a monolith or an idol of some sort.
But definitely not a hut or any house type structure.
No.
And that's kind of what we're looking for right now.
Are you? I don't know. Where was that?
I thought that's what the X was near. Some sort of
the X was near a let me look it up.
I know there is definitely like a hut, but wasn't that on like the eastern side of the field? And they were like,
yes, there's a
very
kind
kind old lady.
There's a house on the eastern side of the map that says kind old lady. Where the treasure is supposedly buried is an idol.
Oh.
So this could be your idol. It's unclear, but could not. Might be another idol. Who knows? But in any case, what do you do?
Well, so there's two things. First is we may actually be able to uncover what treasure there may be left, and two, if there is a way to rescue the souls, we may be able to do that as well.
I'll tell you out of character, there's not. You have lost that completely. They're gone.
Thanks for nothing, DM. Oh.
Thank the dice.
Well, Rose is kind of shaken from all of that. Why don't we go to the idol? I'm scared something else is going to happen. I don't know if we're going to encounter more scarecrows or spirits or crows or whatever in this farm.
Well, I will tell you, if I don't think we can get out, I certainly don't want crows taking me away. And at the very least, whatever it is that took the soldiers, I would see it put down.
So you head the little extra distance down the path. You see the wall, or at least the sort of like crumbling remains of the wall. And you see this idol. Let me describe it for you. Pull it up first, though. This idol was apparently used to, well, this would, you might know this. Do either of you have like a, no, you don't really have, oh, you have omens. I'll take omens, it's good enough. This idol would have been used to hang grain and cattle thieves back in the day. This is the sort of thing that farmers did. They hung the perpetrators, you can even see, to warn other perpetrators as a sign or an omen, if you will. And you can see hanging from this idol are still tattered nooses from who knows how long ago. I am curious, Talia, who's obsessed with looking down from high places, what are you doing right now?
Sorry. Obviously, I'm looking for, since this is the tallest non-burned structure we've come across in some time, um, this might be a good vantage point from which to find the family Palatnikov as well. Any remaining members.
There
And
are
so,
little roughly hewn steps that take you to the top of the idol. The idol itself is probably like a good, I don't know, 20 feet high. And so you can go up to the top of it, because this is how they would have brought the prisoners up, or the thieves up, to
oh,
hang them, right? So
all right, no question. And I've still got a lit torch, so
it's daytime, doesn't
for
matter. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it's the middle of the day. You don't need the torch at all. You can go up there, and what do you do once you get up there?
Look around. What all can I see? How do
Yeah,
things look?
take a hunt roll. We'll see.
All right. Let's see. Just one die.
Unless you have a piece of equipment or a skill, it's one die.
Yep, I can't think of anything besides the one die. So
Risk it. Go for it. Don't roll a one.
there's my one.
Ah,
Never fails.
you lose all your tokens, sadly. And you encounter something terrible. Let me think on that for a moment. I will tell you right now, though, that there was a set goal here, which was learn how to make the crows your allies. But the set goal is made null and void because of the events back at the Siege Tower. So no worries there as far as that goes.
Okay.
Talia, you're looking out, and you do have a better view of the field. The field from this vantage looks much smaller than your travels in it would indicate. It's still pretty big, but you can see the boundaries. You can see what used to be the wall. You still don't see the Plotnikov's farmhouse. That sort of disappears in the sort of fairy realm. But the boundaries of the wall are very visible from your vantage point that you're at. And so even though it feels like you're walking for strange amounts of time, it's the distances are actually not that far, at least visually. You do have a good view of things, though. And here I'm going to find something to briefly torment you with. Give me a moment. Go to our handy bestiary here, find out what might be creeping about.
I called down to Rose. You should definitely come up here. The view is very illuminating.
I will tell you that you see two spirits of the noon flame. They are approaching your direction. You can tell, Talia, that they appear to be following the path of the fire. That's what's drawn their attention. You'll recall that they are fire creatures themselves, right?
Mhm.
And so you can see them. They're walking hand in hand, but they have this sort of telltale glowing yellow eyes and wisps of flame. They remind you very much of the person who was masquerading as a family member of the Plotnikovs down in the well. These two spirits of the noon flame have not yet arrived where you're at, but they are following the remnants of the fire in that direction. So what do you do?
I will call down to Rose. Oh, yeah, I'll call down to Rose if she's not already up here. I see two spirits of the noon flame headed this way. If we want to avoid them, we will have to go. I assume we have to go east to avoid them.
Yeah, you have to walk away from the burning. Yeah.
But otherwise, if there's something to find here, we should find it quickly and make our way away. Otherwise, we'll have to deal with two of those creatures.
Yeah. I guess Rose is gonna try to see if there's anything interesting here really quick.
Do a hunt roll. Try to make it with 5 die or 2 dice. Do not, or you can just spend 1 to find treasure. So that's always an option.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I don't really have a skill or anything that'd be, I guess, useful in this situation. Or I
Just
guess there's like,
be wary. You have 5 tokens and you could lose them all if
yeah,
you roll a 1.
it's a
It might be
very good
easier just to spend a
point.
token and take a treasure and mark and sort of like count that as a win.
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing. I haven't been spending these, so
That
I'll spend a token.
that's actually something that's really interesting about trophy in the moment I'm noticing here. The set goal of the crows as allies, which is our only option here, means
Is
there
no
is
longer
no
relevant.
treasure to find.
Well, yeah. That cycle can't be met. It's obviated by what happened back at the siege tower.
Right,
I just let you know out of character it was a possibility that you can no
right.
longer pursue.
But more importantly, that X near the idol is not here. There is no X per se in this particular location.
Yeah, I will tell you that this is you can probably see from your vantage point, you can probably see that house that's marked on the map
Ah,
a little further in the east. And this doesn't feel like it's the right spot for um, where the buried treasure is supposed to be. You can
okay,
probably suss that out pretty easily.
okay.
I will tell you this though, since you spent your token, you do get a treasure. Let me find a treasure for you.
Yay.
Uh, you will find near the base of the idol, there are a collection of little shiny objects that the crows must have been just collecting randomly because that's what crows do, right? And most of it's junk, but there are a few interesting pieces there, a couple of coins, that kind of thing. Nothing that rises to the level of giving you a gold. But you do find a small, it's a small gem. The gem, well, it's not small, it's actually pretty big. It's like thumbnail sized. And it's a sort of like translucent green, and it's cut very beautifully. It's worth 1 gold. That's its intrinsic value, at least. You can note that in your found equipment.
Perfect. And yeah, Rose will be like, I uh found something, but there's nothing else really here. I think we need to leave.
All right. Talia's gonna. She doesn't really want to, but she's gonna sort of take a mental note of what direction that X might be on based on the map and her current vantage point. And she's going to go and she's going to come down the stairs, like I said, reluctantly, but come down the stairs and say, we need to head in this direction.
It is
We're
more northeast from where you're at.
Yep. So we'll follow that and separate the wheat as we go if there's no clear path. That's what we have to do. We're gonna
So
have to go through the field.
you can follow the path east for a time. You can follow it east to the point where you came in from the field and then continue going east from there.
Okay.
Or you can continue north through the field. Or northeast through the field, I suppose.
I'm aiming for the X right now.
Yeah, I
If
think
it's
Rose
if it's this hard for us mentally, Talia's like Masha's didn't make it. This is
Heading northeast through the field, you will walk for a time. And that time eventually slips away, and it's nighttime again. And the moon is high in the sky. What looked like a large overgrown hillock or rock from your vantage point earlier, Talia, you can see now is a large barn overgrown. That is a little off to the sort of northwest of where you're at this moment. Probably not the right direction, but it is something that you'll note from where you're currently at in the wheat field. You can keep pressing forward though with your sort of intuitive direction of where to go. This also might be a place where your navigating via scent in the darkness could be helpful, Rose, because I think it might be helpful to essentially be moving in the opposite direction of the fire, right? And so maybe as you put the burning sensation in the rear view of your senses, you might be knowing you're going in the right direction, right? But also, the moon goes away, leaving you with just your torchlight in the field. And then your torchlight starts to dim. You can see the light being drawn away from the torch into a particular direction, deeper into the field. The light is just, it's being like drained, like through a sieve, like it's just like draining away, making the torch smaller and smaller. The fire is still the same size, but the light is smaller and smaller, leaving you ever more in darkness. Talia, you're holding the torch. What do you do?
I'm going to take a single sliver of the wheat from the field and see whether the light, if I burn that, is any different from the light from the torch, or whether it's simply dark and heat.
Make a 2-die hunt roll.
Snake eyes. Not quite. Got a 4.
Take your token. The torch is still hot. The fire is still there. It's just putting off no light.
Yep. Okay.
You can actually see the trail of light going into a particular spot a little further ahead in the wheat and then stopping as it gets snuffed out. And you can hear the shuffling of feet in that general direction. Something is stealing your light.
Okay.
What do you do?
Well, my gut says whatever it is, that's not a physical force. That's my gut. Talia's gut says that's not a physical force. And she's going to put an arm across Rose's chest to hold her back. And step back from the thing that's stealing the light far enough that her flame lights up to at least, a few candles worth, and then start clearing wheat so she can put the torch in the ground.
Okay, I'll let you do that. You can do that for free.
Okay.
And eventually the light will just disappear completely, plunging you in darkness.
Then I guess we'll have to light a second. Oh, so it intensifies regardless. The drawing of the light intensifies.
It's
not something.
It's just happening gradually.
Okay. All right.
It's like, imagine if your torch was like a cup of water being tipped very slowly and dribbling out. That's what it's
Oh,
like.
wow.
The light
Okay.
is dribbling away,
All
but it's
right. I
moving
thought it
in
was
a
sort of,
direction. It's being
got
sucked
it.
away.
I thought it was more of a muted sort of, a
Mm-mm.
muting sort of action as
No, it's
opposed to
literally being sucked away. You can see it moving away, like
All
in a
right.
line. You know.
Okay. If I look at Rose, if this is some, I whisper, if this is some sort of spirit, perhaps I can push it out again.
You hear
Perhaps
a
it will make it.
voice in the dark coming from the direction that you were, the light was disappearing to. You're now in total darkness. There's not even any moonlight. You hear this voice in the dark. It says, "She likes it when the light is low. She likes it when the night is pure. We must snuff out the light."
I guess Rose has been sniffing this whole time. Am I able to kind of tell about how far this thing could be with my
I'd say
schnoz?
about 50 paces, pretty close. And it smells of a very earthy smell, like a bin full of beets or potatoes.
Hmm.
Or turnips.
Well, I don't know if this makes it any less threatening, but it smells like a root cellar.
You can hear it walking away from you, having collected your light.
I think I could still keep the fire at our back and keep us on our trail if we'd like. It just took our light. I don't know if it might take anything else from us.
Well, if it's, we can't light another torch. It would simply take that light as well.
It might get angry too. It says she likes it when the night is pure.
I'd be willing to burn the field, but not until we're on our way out.
Haven't had enough of that today, apparently.
Not enough.
I think as a risk roll, using your scent ritual is a great idea to keep navigating Rose, if you want to go ahead and do that. What's the worst that could happen, Merwin?
Worst that could happen? Oh, you know, I really don't know what's in that hut, but I'm pretty sure it's not a kind old woman. So the worst thing that could happen is we end up navigating to the hut.
That's intriguing. I like that a lot. I have some thoughts, but I kind of like that. I might go with that. Yeah, so let's talk about dice. First die, skills or equipments. What do you think? Or skills or equipment? What do you think? Hunting, possibly? Plants? I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking like hunting, like navigating for like a certain
Yeah, I think that's good.
like spot.
Devil's bargains. This could be interesting. I'm gonna say no matter what, you are forced to light another light source.
This might be a foregone conclusion, but this close to whatever this is, I wonder if no matter what, the sun doesn't come back.
That's interesting. What do you think?
Interesting. I'm personally a fan of the sun. Fan of solar and everything. So I think I'm gonna say no matter what, we have to light another torch at some point.
Yeah. You got 2 dice, and you're doing a ritual, but I'm not going to make you roll the dark die because you've been kind of actively doing this. So we'll just let you do 2 light for now.
That is a 6.
Awesome. You will safely navigate to where you're trying to go on the map. And we'll talk about that in a moment. You are going to have to light a light source at some point. And I think the reason why is because I think you dropped something important in the darkness and you can't find it. I'll decide what it is you drop. You can decide whether you actually want to light the torch to try to find it quickly. What you drop, Rose, is you drop the key to the granary. You can just leave it be, or you can light a torch to try to find it.
Well, if we're gonna take it over, we can change the locks. So I think Rose is gonna like make note of that, but not tell Talia.
Very good. You do eventually find where you're going. You do it by smell, which is a really interesting proposition. You know you're trying to find this idol where apparently the soldiers buried the treasure. I want to know what is left over from the war, faintly, olfactorily, that is leading you here.
Um, iron, I think, is the strongest scent that's still kind of left over. Just the rusted from, I would imagine, like having a siege tower. There must have been some kind of battle that took place on this land.
So what was it again that you're following?
Smelling like iron, like from
Oh,
blood.
iron. Oh, good. Oh, like blood. Okay, yeah, good. I like that. Possibly actual rusted iron too. Good, I like it. Let me take a look at the module real quick to see what's about to happen, and then we'll resume. Good. You arrive at the place that you are meant to be. The moon reappears, interestingly. You get to this clearing and you essentially step out of the wheat, out of total darkness, into a moonlit clearing. The moon is back. And you can see that in this little clearing, there is an idol carved from wood. It is as tall as 2 people. There are little offerings left near the base of it, coins and little nuggets of gold and things like that. Holy symbols. And I guess, Talia, what do you do?
Do I recognize the idol from any religious teachings or my omen's ability?
No, this is very old and very
Okay.
fey.
Okay.
But that in itself is an answer, right? So.
Indeed. In any case, I'm going to. Oh my, that's interesting. Talia is going to. Give up her sewing kit to seek out whatever is here that she came to find.
Make a hunt roll with 2 dice.
I'm going to go ahead and mark that off my character sheet, by the way.
Yeah, and that's why you're getting your second die too.
All right. I got a 5 and a 6. Looks like the spirits like that.
They do indeed. 6 is what you want. You take your token, and I will tell you as you are laying down your offering of the sewing kit at the base of the idol, you will notice on the other side of the idol, there is a quite large hole in the ground. It's a hole that can be, it doesn't go straight down. It can be like crawled into, right? And this is Sekul Met. You have found the entrance to the tunnels beneath the field. And so I guess at this point, I'll just ask Rose, what are you doing right now? You'll see all this as well, Rose.
I don't know. I guess Rose is kind of poking around. She doesn't. Does she want to? I think she wants to find the nicest looking offering that was left and snag it
Very good.
by spending like a token to like
You
get a
can-
treasure.
Yeah, you don't even have to spend it. You can just take it.
Yeah.
There is a decent sized gold nugget worth 1 gold. You can take that. As soon
Yeah,
as you,
she's gonna.
as soon
Oh,
as
yeah,
you
I
take
was-
the gold nugget, add it. You can just add 1 gold to your gold counter. It's full ass daylight the moment you touch it. The sun is high in the sky, and you can hear something approaching from the wheat behind you. You will look and you will see a large pheasant, very oversized, like the size of a desk. This large pheasant steps out of the wheat, and it's sort of looking down, like it's poking around at the ground. And then it looks up, and you can see that it has the head and face of a woman. And it says, "Not willing to work for your material gains, I see. This is the sort of laziness I have been trying to expel from the people of this land."
Shoot, yeah, I don't have a rebuttal to that. Seeing the hole, I think Rose is just gonna try to scamper down in there.
Yes, run, hide, go hide with Mother Galena. 2 of you can become fast friends in idleness. What are you doing, Talia?
If she's not stopping me, I'm definitely going down into the tunnel. I don't think a pheasant can make it down there.
You go down into the tunnel, and the pheasant woman, the woman pheasant, she just continues saying, "Laziness and sloth, always looking for the easy way out, always running from your troubles. Nothing here will be the death of you two, only laziness and sloth."
I don't know about you, but I think I'm working pretty hard.
I was about to say, getting through that wheat field was hard work.
We're down in the tunnel. We have a new set goal here. The tunnel set goal is find the buried soldier treasure. The soldiers must not have buried it right here. They buried it somewhere in this tunnel system. You're down in the tunnels and you have to crawl. But it's a comfortable crawl. You can't stand up, but you're not like, pressed down. You're just kind of on your hands and knees. and it is it's a maze of of darkness, and there's a little bit of ambient light at the beginning, but it gets darker and darker as you go. What's your plan here? What are you doing? I mean, assuming that you can assume in character this is where the soldiers put their gold, but what do you do?
Um, I was gonna say Rose is definitely gonna look back at Talia and be like, "You don't think that was the noon lady people have been talking about, do you?"
I'm pretty sure that was exactly who that was. I have no desire to become one of her enterprising folk.
Didn't she say Mother Galena? Something about Mother Galena being down here?
Something about reaching Mother Galena, but not Mother Galena being here. Perhaps there is an end to the tunnel, and that is where Mother Galena is, but it seems quite confusing down here, and I don't know that there would be any way to mark our path other than perhaps a groove in the side of the tunnel, and always following a path until we navigate the entirety of it. I don't know a better way.
It might not be the most pleasant, but we've been using a sense of smell to navigate. I do have, and like even Rose is kind of like cringing at this thought. I have bear and deer musk, so our marks might not be visible, but you could still smell them.
Like a golden thread of stench.
Well, I worry that the stench will spread in a way that a mark does not. And so, especially at a crossroads, it will be useless to know which way we went. We might be able to light a torch down here and have it stay lit.
Yeah.
Try that. I'll try lighting a torch down here.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of close quarters.
Yeah.
A lantern would be easier if you have a lantern.
I got a couple of empty slots, but I don't have a lantern right now. Let me see if a lantern is an option.
I'm not seeing it, unfortunately. Just
You can
the
just
torch,
say it
or
and fill
just
one of your
write it.
slots with it. Yeah, you can just write it.
Yeah.
So, a lantern would just be easier than an open flame torch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I assume Rose is in front, so I can definitely take the lantern.
Yeah, I'll make that happen. I don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
So
Nope.
lantern.
I think we'll just start with a hunt roll here with 2 dice. Since you're in the lead, Rose, go ahead and do it.
That is a 5.
All right, take your token. I think a lot of the tunnel is there's nowhere to go. You just go down the tunnel. It occasionally branches off here and there, and you're having to kind of probably do a lot of backtracking and stuff as you crawl around. And at a certain point, you have a little bit of halo of light that you can kind of see ahead, right? Maybe 10, 20 paces ahead if you were walking. And you can see a cross-cut of tunnel up ahead, but it's quite dark. So you can't quite make out a lot of details. But you just hear and then quickly see someone crawl across your path.
Yeah, Rose is like hard stop. Talia, did you see that?
I can only see your backside in this situation, I'm afraid.
It looks like someone's scuttling like us, but quicker. Like they're used to this.
You see it again.
Is it, maybe it's Masha?
And like, does the form look Masha sized at all? And like the little bit I could see.
It's hard to tell.
I'm sure I only got like suggestions. Well, it went like, I guess from where we're facing one way and then doubled back the other way. So
Did.
She crossed our path and then doubled back. So I think the way she went initially could have been a dead end. It might be smarter and not smart to follow her in this instance. So it's gonna.
If we head towards a known dead end, that's also a good thing because we can then eliminate it as a. Oh, yeah, either way, we can make sure it actually was a dead end.
Sure. You know, that might be better. I don't think I think I want to put a little more distance between us and that thing. So
A
Rose
little
goes
further ahead, not in that same junction, but somewhere else in the tunnel, you can hear.
Yeah, Rose is gonna start crawling the way the thing went the first time when it crossed us.
You continue on for a bit. Up ahead in the darkness, before you reach it, you can hear it. You hear a sort of
I mean, that doesn't sound too good, if I'm being honest.
behind you somewhere.
So I guess hearing the
not immediately behind you, but just somewhere.
So I guess hearing both the scuttling and like behind us and the breathing in front of us, Rose is going to hoist the lantern high and try to illuminate it.
You have to get just a little bit closer to see what's making that sound up ahead.
She swallows hard and scoots forward enough to see it.
There is a massive oxen-sized mole asleep, blocking the path.
Talia, we have to double back. There's a mole here. And Rose is gonna like kind of scooch over a bit so
You can
Talia
see the
can
little
see.
tendrils of its snout wavering as it inhales and exhales.
Talia will shuffle backwards so Rose can back up.
Yeah, Rose is gonna try to like obscure the light, like holding it kind of backwards and just sort of scooch back. Like
Talia,
slowly.
something strokes your hair in the darkness from behind you.
Okay.
It's a loving, gentle stroke.
Talia will stop abruptly. Who's there?
You hear as whatever it is crawls away.
I say there's something behind us too. I don't think it's a vole. Or a mole, sorry. I don't think it's a mole. But Talia will back up back to the intersection so we can go the other way.
Yeah, Rose will do the same.
Those tokens are
Definitely
sitting right
scared.
there. Spend 3 tokens and the treasure is yours.
Damn, you're right. Ah,
We still have
yeah,
to escape. We still have to get out.
that's a really good point. I think I'm gonna just press on a little more and see what other shenanigans we can get ourselves into. I do like the escape option.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We might have we used to have enough to escape and do this, but oh no, we do have enough to do both if we need to. But
Oh, true, yeah.
yeah,
Because you can spend a token and add to it, right?
yeah, we can pool our tokens for the purposes of resolving a set goal. I mean, it's not like there's a ton left to do though, because if we still want to try and rescue Masha or any, I mean,
Do I want
there's
to rescue Masha?
if we want to get out while the getting's good and figure out whether we lost all 6 gold from the grain, that's another story too. We have no idea about any of that. So
True.
yeah,
Yeah. I can spend the first 3 for us, and then we can pull later if we need to.
okay.
And
So
bam.
you're spending 3 tokens to accomplish the set goal of finding the buried treasure.
Yep, I'm spending 3.
You will notice a glint down one tunnel in your lantern light. It is a silver piece. And you'll find a couple more. Apparently the soldiers' sacks or something must have cut open and they dropped a few. But eventually it will lead you to a large chest of silver, somewhat overgrown with roots at this point, but they can be cut away. And if you crack it open, it's a huge amount of silver. It's worth, mechanically, it's worth 6 gold total.
Wow.
Now we just got to get out.
So, what do you know?
Well, we found what we're looking for, but I think the way we came might be a little too dangerous. But I don't know if there's any other outlet in this tunnel, or if it's even worth looking for. What do you think, Talia?
Talia says, I think we need to make it. I think we need to find another way out of the tunnel other than the way we came in. Because the farther we are from that noon lady, the better.
Yeah, the noon lady might be waiting on you when you go the other way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Not only that, but if we can make it to an entrance that's as close to the fence at the wall as possible, we might be able to make it back over the wall. Or even through that door. There was that door we saw in the tree.
That may be our best bet of getting out of here with our treasure.
Rose, in the darkness, you feel some fingers stroking your cheek.
I guess from the darkness, would it be like ahead of me, like reaching out?
Yes, I mean, I think you just don't have a light trained on it right now, but you can.
Right now, yeah. Yeah, just kind of as a reaction, Rose isn't expecting to get touched, so she like jerks her hand up like towards whatever it is, and just happens to be the one with the lantern.
You see a woman on her hands and knees. She has the same flaxen hair as the other Plotnikovs. And she's smiling very peacefully, gently at you as she strokes your hair and rubs and caresses your cheek. She says, not that, she says, so beautiful. I have daughters, you know. Though I do not know what happened to them. Perhaps you could be my daughter.
Dang. That's sad. Rose is just gonna kind of, I guess, like stammer. G- Gal- Galena.
Yes, yes, that was my name, Galena. But you can call me Mother.
Um, I guess Rose is gonna kind of like look back at Talia, like, you seeing this too?
Oh yeah, she's right there.
Yeah.
Talia's going to
And another. I could have 2 new daughters.
Talia's going to steel herself and say, "Do you know the way back to the wall, Mother Galena?"
I only know 2 ways: to the barn and to the kindly lady's house.
The barn is where we just came from, right? That's where the idol was?
No, the barn was in
No.
the another direction.
Okay. Okay.
Would you
And the
like to
house
go to one
wasn't
of those places, my sweet daughter? My sweet dear heart?
and the house wasn't where we were either.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I, of course, know the way back to that horrible woman as well, but I have a feeling you don't want to go back there.
No.
No.
She is cruel. She will make you work and work and work, all to appease her vanity.
Yes, and we saw some evidence of her work. It is work of a futile nature.
That's why I hide down here. I refuse to do her work.
Um,
S-
I Rose like kind of conferring with Talia. Everyone keeps calling the old lady in that cabin that we've seen kindly, but I think I'd rather take my chances on the barn.
Uh, I will ask Mother Galena, why is how do you know the lady is kind, the one in the house?
She is very kind because she gives me muffins from time to time.
I see. Well, muffins can't be all bad, I say, looking at Rose.
Does the kind old lady talk to that horrible noon lady?
No, 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 no. She dislikes the noon lady very much.
Well, I guess that's enough for me.
Anyone
I
who
don't,
dislikes the noon lady can't be all bad.
from what we know, yeah. Why don't we meet the kindly old woman? We've been crawling for far too long.
I will take you there.
And we'll ask Mother Galena along the way, why is it you don't stay with the kindly old lady?
She has a tendency to become distant because she is obsessed with another.
Another. Who is she
All right.
obsessed with?
All will be revealed in due time. And she continues crawling in a particular direction.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
going on at some length in the darkness as you're crawling. She says, "The noon lady insists we work and work, that we labor endlessly for very little reward other than to satisfy her ego. I believe that workers are entitled to the fruits of their labor. And she believes that work in and of itself is a reward." you're crawling some more. Eventually, the tunnel slopes up to another hole, opening, and she says, "Here we are." And she says, "I'm going to leave you here, but it was so nice to find you, my sweet daughters."
Why not come with us, Mother Galena?
No, no, no. I'm afraid I can't. She says it's almost nighttime. And nighttime is the only time I can leave the tunnels.
Oh. Yep.
And she leaves you to it.
I hope she can find Masha if we don't.
We shall
Well,
see.
if we know where to, if we do find Masha, at least we know where her mother is. But convincing her mother to leave the tunnels, I think, will be an entirely more challenging undertaking.
We'll have to see. This may not even be a bridge we need to cross. What's this?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just about to ask, like, what are we looking at with the slope in the tunnel and everything?
Yeah, do you leave? I mean, do you go out of the tunnel?
Yeah, let's take a look.
There's a new second here, which is learn the secret desire of the old woman. And I'll just describe what you see as you come out of the tunnel. It's a hut, a house of some sort. Seems fairly small, probably not more than one room. There's one large room, done in a very, very old style, kind of straw thatched roof. Very simple construction. There is an open window with what appears to be a pie sitting on the windowsill, and a few other objects that you can't quite tell what they are unless you get closer. There's a little pond nearby and a little garden as well. The sun is low in the sky, so you can still see everything fairly well. And we'll take a 5-minute break. Come back. I have put a little section of the map on the image board if you want to take a look at that. And you'll notice, so the hole ends up basically, it spits you out kind of between the pond and the house. So you're sort of like right there. There are 2 paths as well, 3 actually, 3 paths going away from the pond in a sort of southerly direction. 1 or 2 of them on either side of the house, then 1 a little further to the west, going south. It's late in the afternoon. The sun is getting low in the sky, but it's still bright out. And the scene is peaceful. As I've described, there's a pie cooling in the window, along with some other objects that you can't quite make out unless you get closer. There is a garden. You can smell, especially you, Rose, can smell very like herbaceous kind of smell coming from the garden. No other sounds, though. Rose, what do you do? And I'll remind you of your set goal as well. If you wish to pursue it, learn the secret desire of the old woman.
We have our treasure. And Mother Galena said that she can come out at night. Do you think the Noon Lady might be, I don't know, sleeping? Do you think it could be safe to escape Talia?
It sounds like it sounds to me as if, or rather, it feels to me as if there are two separate threats, one in the day and one in the night. And the noon lady would be the day threat, and the one that likes it dark is the threat at night, the one that ate our light. But, and I am not certain what the creature was, the creature of crows that consumed the spirits. I don't know what that was. So we are, I don't think it is a time of day that creates danger for us. I think we are surrounded by it, and this is one of the few places where there is refuge of a sort, even refuge or respite of a sort for the creatures within this Fey space. I think in this particular environment, civility will serve us well.
You want to stay here for a bit?
I want to at least see if we can get our bearings here for a bit. Because right now, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you, but I couldn't tell which way was which in that tunnel. So I don't know where the wall is. And if the old woman knows where the wall is, then we have a way to get out. If Masha has taken refuge in here, then we may be able to do more than one thing.
That's fair. Because like the passage of time too, like even though it's quick, like for us, it still feels like actual like hours and days, doesn't it?
Sometimes, yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. Sometimes it feels very sudden. Yeah. I will tell you right at this point that just in the same way that the west side of the field had a set goal of finding the tunnels, the east side of the field, which you are currently in, also has its own set goal, which is learn how to bring balance back to the wheat field.
We're gonna guess burning down the wheat field would not solve the problem, but okay.
I mean, what's more balanced than just a fresh start?
Raise the land. Salt the earth. Yeah, so you have the set goal around the house, the old woman's house, and then the set goal, the larger set goal of the east side of the field. So what do you do?
Shall we?
Lead on.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna go to the front door and knock.
Mhm.
You will pass by the window on the way around. You can look into the house if you wish.
That seems
Rose is-
uncivil.
Oh dang, Rose is gonna be a heathen and take a peek while we're passing by.
Take a hunt roll, Rose.
That is a 5.
Take your token. Give me 1 minute to look at lines and veils.
But I will choose to get into a different kind of trouble, Jason. And that is, I'm gonna look towards the pond and see what's there.
Make a hunt roll.
Perhaps my knowledge of herbs will help me here if there are any valuable plants in the area. That's I'm
Sure.
looking specifically for gluey type herbs that would survive the water because I lost my sewing kit.
Okay, very good. Well, go ahead and roll. It's fine. The 2 dice.
Got a 5 out of that.
Take your token. I'll start with your encounter something terrible. you'll notice in the pond, there is what appears to be the bottom half of a really similar idol to the one that the tunnel, the Noon Lady was around. Very similar idol to the Noon Lady's idol. But it appears to have been like basically thrown into the pond. You can see it like kind of jutting out of the pond upside down. No particular plants of interest, however, but you do get your token.
Okay.
Rose, you got a 5 as well, right?
Yeah, I did. I accidentally rolled that in the general chat though.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, so probably someone's like, what is this? It's funny though. I didn't know that it would work in the general chat. That's amusing. I guess it would work anywhere. You go up to the window just to take a peek. You do see this pie, as I've described. It smells like an apple pie. And a quick question about lines and veils. Whoever put eye injuries, are you okay with like just eyeballs being like out in the open? Is that either of you, or is that somebody else who's not here?
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Okay, so we're going with it. On the ledge, there are also a number of large softball-sized eyeballs of various. They have different colors and things, but they are definitely eyes.
You know, I can't say this is the craziest thing we've seen. We've also seen a lot of like large creatures. So Rose is just gonna kind of hope that those are maybe where the eyes came from, and continue with Talia's plan of civility.
Very good. You go around front, you pass by the garden, and you will see the old woman laying down in the garden. She appears to be catching a nap. She's kind of like laying on her side like this with her face on her hands as if sleeping. Her little scarf thing is kind of hanging over her face a little bit. What do you do, Rose?
I guess Rose is gonna set the. I assume Rose would be kind of like carrying the chest if it's like possible for just one person to like carry or lug it. Or
Yeah, I think you'll both have to. You have to set it down unless you're
Yeah.
traveling, right?
we'd like set it down, kind of like go over to the old woman, sort of like crouch by her, just gently try to like shake her awake and just sort of whisper like, excuse me, ma'am, I think we need some help.
As you get closer, you will notice that there is no telltale rise and fall of her chest from breathing. Just very still.
Going over and like touching her, like, does she feel cold? Does she respond at all?
She stirs a little bit.
Oh, but still no telltale breathing.
No.
Interesting. Rose is gonna look back up at Talia, like, should I just kind of shoot Talia a look? Like, this is weird.
Talia will wave her over so she comes back away from the woman.
But yeah, Rose will
Well,
follow suit.
I think we should just wait for her to wake up. I mean, she has to take care of the pie at some time, so at some moment. So if we just wait by her door, perhaps she will notice us when she rouses herself and comes in.
Well, may as well get comfortable. And yeah, Rose is gonna. Are there any like benches, stools, or chairs on the like in front of her door?
There's not, but the door is wide open.
Yeah, I'm sitting outside. I'll just wait outside.
Yeah. Rose will kind of do the same. Just haven't really sat down for a while.
Catching your breath, waiting. Eventually, you will hear the old woman rouse herself. She's standing up, and you can hear her approaching from around the back of the house, away from the garden, towards you, towards the front. What do you do?
Good evening, uh, uh, woman of the house, I assume.
She looks up. She has a basket filled with herbs and vegetables and things. She looks up, and she has a nose, she has a mouth, she has a face, but where her eyes should be, there's just it's just smooth. And going up from the ridge of her nose up to the top of her forehead is a slit. And she puts her fingers in the slit and peels them back, opens the slit of flesh, revealing a large eyeball. And she says, "Oh, hello. Please come in. I've got muffins, freshly baked."
Thank you.
Thank you.
She goes inside. She bids you to come inside, and she says, "Nice fresh muffins. They came out of the oven just a few hours ago. They're still quite soft, though not warm." And she takes up a little basket of muffins. The interior of the house is just a single room, and there is an oven with a wooden door. There is on one wall what appears to be a picture or a painting of some sort, but covered with cloth, a mirror perhaps. And there's a few other little, jars and knickknacks and things on shelves and tables. There is a bed, and there's a little bedside table near the bed, but that's basically it. And she has her basket of muffins, and she walks up to you, Rose, and her single eye is looking you up and down. And she says, "I think you would probably like a cherry muffin."
I think you are very correct. Rose is like trying her best to seem like genuine and like, comfortable despite everything we're surrounded by.
And then she looks at you, Talia, and she looks you up and down with her eye that rotates up and down in her head. And she says, "And I think you would like an apple muffin." She gives you an apple muffin.
Talia will gratefully accept the apple muffin, and she will look outside of a window and say, Thank you so much. I thought only wheat grew here."
She says, "Oh, it is true the wheat grows quite tall here, but if you know how to work the land, you can make anything grow. And I've had plenty of time and practice."
Um, we've heard a little bit of you from Mother Galena, but we never got your name. My name is Rose.
I'm
She says,
Talia.
"Rose, what a lovely name. Talia, that too, a very lovely name. You can call me the kindly woman. I suppose you could call me the kindly old woman, but, well, sometimes it's best not to be reminded of one's imminent demise or mortality."
Have you seen a young girl pass through?
"Oh, no, not in some time, though Galena, did come out of her hole asking about it. Well, gosh, it's been a long time now. But I think she finally gave up.
Hmm.
That
Is
poor
there a
woman,
way
I believe she
to?
lost her family.
Yes, I think at least her husband may be beyond help now, but I'm not certain of that, and perhaps even her son, the older one. But is there a way to find people in the wheat? It is difficult to navigate here, and even more difficult to see where people are.
She
And
says,
of
well,
course,
if you are simply trying to leave this place, well, I can't imagine why you'd want to, for starters. This is a lovely spot, don't you think?
your your hospitality is the best thing here.
That's very kind of you to say. Please enjoy your muffin. I'm just going to do a bit of cleaning up. And she takes a broom down from a little hook on the wall, and she begins sweeping while you are standing there eating your muffins. They're delicious.
Okay. I try not to spill, especially since she's cleaning.
Um, kindly woman, um, how long have you lived here?
Oh, longer than I'd like. But I've made peace with it for the time being.
Has this area always been? Bros just kind of gestures, just vaguely, not
Wheat?
really having the word. Yes. Wheaty.
She smiles and she says, so many questions, so many questions. Please enjoy your muffin. Rose, at this point, as she's sweeping, you'll notice that coming out of the broom bristles are fingers. The fingers come out of the broom bristles and gather bits of debris from the floor and pull them into the broom.
That's a very efficient broom. Um, Rose is gonna turn her attention elsewhere.
You said that you knew the way to the wall.
Oh, well, I I disagree with the wall. I don't think it ever should have been built, but
Hmm.
it is what it is. We do what we must.
Should the wall not be there?
Oh, well, it is not for me to say.
Hmm.
I didn't really. And she's sort of like, she says, well, let's just say that I was friends with the old Palatnikovs. I taught the Palatnikov women everything they know.
Hmm. Yes, we did see, we did note that Mother Galena had ensorcelled a house spirit.
She does have some talents, though she is nothing compared to her great-grandmother, let me tell you that.
Hmm.
That woman was very, very skilled in the old ways, or as I like to call them, the ways.
The way, of course. I
How did you come to meet the Polotnikovs? Was it through Galena's great grandmother?
Yes, yes, yes. She, well, they were needing a little bit of help with their farm, needing a little bit of help to make things grow. And I taught them some of the ways.
wonder why they built the wall then.
That is an interesting and sad story, I'm afraid.
Oh,
Well,
so you know why?
You actually know why as well.
Oh
The
yeah,
story
yeah.
that you were told was that basically the Plotnikovs got tired of wanting to deal with the Fae. So they built the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess Rose says like more to herself, but sort of out loud, like, I thought it was the Noon Lady that taught them everything.
She takes in a sharp inhalation of breath upon hearing you say the Noon Lady and says, well, I have so much work to get done today. Thank you for stopping by.
I did have one thank you for your hospitality, I say. There's quite a fearsome murder of crows in the field. Is there anything that can be done about them?
I know of what you speak. You shouldn't concern yourself with them. They are not of this place. They are parasites of a sort, but they are after something that is of no interest to me or to the denizens of this field. And I think they have recently got what they came for.
And the idol out back, we noticed it had been discarded in the pond.
And here she says, she walks over to her windowsill and she takes one of the eyes from the shelf. She pulls out the eye that was currently in her head. You can hear a sort of popping sound. She sets it down and you hear
I'm stepping outside the on the other side of the door frame from the house, so I'm outside.
You hear a sucking sound as this new eye, a sort of twinkling starlight eye, is put in place. And she turns to you and says, I would very much like for that to be destroyed, but I can no longer approach it, try as I might.
How does one destroy it?
I do not know. I do know that it is protected by magics that even I cannot penetrate. I have tried many times to fish it out, to finish what I started, but I cannot.
What did you start?
She says, I removed it from its perch and tossed it into the pond, thinking that it might free my love, the Midnight Maiden. But it did not. She is still bound. That's the Sekol net.
Yeah. I guess Rose turns to Talia. I think that this could very quickly make our treasure more trouble than it's worth. I have no clue how we could do such a thing. So I think we should stake out for the tree.
Can we tell from the sun which way the sun's setting? Which way the wall might be from where we are?
Oh yeah, you can, I mean, you need to head south, basically.
Okay.
Mhm.
You're already on the eastern side of the field, which is where the tree is on the eastern side.
We can
I
follow
say
the
if-
trail. Oh yeah, sorry.
No. Yeah, no. Talia can definitely see you wanting to leave here right away. That's not an issue at all. But if we help the kindly woman, we may get a faster way out of here than having to hoof it on our own. She may be more willing to help us because we can't travel in the day. Because if we travel in the day, the Noon Lady will be hounding us.
It's about to be nighttime right now, so
Yeah,
That's
we might
true.
be able to make it.
But I can see how having an ally in the kindly lady, and I'm sure if we do this, the Midnight Maiden would be indebted to us too. And that would be helpful. And maybe it would help Masha as well, because it was probably our fault that she got scared and ran into the field.
Yeah, if there's anything we can do for her, I would like to, but we can make an attempt. I guess we can make an attempt. She doesn't seem to think it was harmful to keep, I mean, she says she couldn't destroy it, but she didn't say it was harmful to try.
Rose kind of like steels herself and just sort of, all right, we can give it an attempt. I think we do owe them that.
Is there a, at least for the muffins? Talia shakes her head.
Yeah, Rose shakes
Cheap
back.
date.
Um,
I'll remind you,
Why
there's
don't-
also the bigger set goal of learning how to bring balance back to the wheat field.
indeed. Why don't we take a look at what we're dealing with first and get a better idea of that?
Is there a, how is the pond big? I mean, it's dark now or getting dark.
Mhm.
How big across is the pond, and
Not very.
is it wadeable? What happens if I stick a toe in there?
Oh, you can absolutely walk into it. It's at most like waist high water. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
I guess Rose wants to hunt for any sort of information on what we can see with this idol, like if we're able to approach it at all, or if there's any like markings or anything that
Yeah,
seems
do
important.
do a hunt
I
roll.
think omens would be super helpful here.
If you want, yeah, I mean, Elman's probably would be. If you want to take the hunt roll, go for it.
Yeah, I'll definitely let the expert.
Yeah, 2 dice.
/2. There's a 6. I'll take it.
Take your token. You're looking at the idol, and you see a frog hopping, swimming around the idol in the dusk light. And the frog hops up onto the idol because it's sticking out of the water. Hops up on the idol to take a rest. As soon as it lands on the idol, it freezes solid and falls into the water frozen.
That's not good.
This is very helpful information.
I think so.
Touching it probably isn't a good idea, huh?
I'm gonna start stripping off some stalks of wheat and start braiding them into a thicker rope slash stick. Something I can use to, as a, you know, if we get it long enough, we can put both sides and sort of drag the idol.
It would probably take a long time to do. I mean, it might be easier just to get rope out of your pack, I think.
I'm running out of spots. I only have 1 spot left, so
I can grab a rope. It's 60 feet. Heck yeah. So yeah, I guess as you start that, Rose just sort of hands you a big coil of rope.
Look here. This is faster.
okay.
I love survival skills, but sometimes an easier answer is nice.
Well, let's see if we can set the idol. Is it upside down? Is it
Yeah,
sideways?
it's upside down, kind of like wedged in the silt or whatever below the water.
Well, perhaps we can at least turn it right side up. so that its head is out of the water. Perhaps that will help somewhat.
It might be better just to drag it out. I feel like it'd be easier to burn if it wasn't submerged. If burning is something we can do.
Where did that idol used to be? Is there I'm gonna search around the pond to see where it used to be.
That's the third path on the map. That's where the idol used to be set up.
Oh, wow. Okay. Number 18 on the map.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like we can sort of, if we want to sort of drag the idol in that direction and take a look at where it
Yep.
used to be housed.
Yep, let's try that.
Using the rope, I don't need a die roll. You can just do it with enough effort. You can haul the idol out of the pond, and the old woman will come out and meet you. It's well nighttime at this point, and her eye is glowing orange and red like fire, and she says, "Oh, very, very good, very, very good indeed. And where are you taking it?"
At
Well,
least
go
you
ahead,
got
go ahead,
this.
Rose.
I was gonna say, we just want to bring it out to see if there's a better way to destroy it.
"Oh, you just leave it right there and I'll take care of the rest."
I wonder if we shouldn't put it, I mean, what happens if we, what was it like when it was where it was where it was originally?
"Oh, let's not trouble ourselves with that. It took me so long to wrench it down from that spot to begin with. No need to worry ourselves about that. You just stand back and I'll take care of the rest."
The last thing Rose wants to do is be on the other side of any sort of fiery red eye. So she's gonna definitely take heed and quickly coil her rope as she at least steps away from it.
Talia?
Um, I think the way to bring balance back to the wheat is to stick the idol where it used to be. But I don't really have a way to do that without freezing.
And also, she clearly doesn't want you to do it.
Again, she clearly doesn't want us to do it. So she's here not bring back balance to the wheat. But that's probably because she skewed it in the first place by making a deal with the Palatnikovs. Okay. I will help Rose get the idol out of the water, and then back when she says she's gonna take care of it, I'll get out of the way, because my instinct is that she's gonna end up calling Children of the Flame.
Interesting.
If you stand back, her glowing orange eye begins to glow even brighter, and there is a blast, a beam of intense heat that radiates from her eye and pierces the heart of the idol and causes it to burst into flames. And once the flames die down, the idol is destroyed. Standing on the other side of the burning idol is a large owl. The owl is the size of a person. It's very big. But the owl looks up and has the face of a woman. And the old woman approaches the owl woman and says, "Oh, my love, you are finally free. Let us leave this place." And the owl woman, the Midnight Maiden, She says, but now it will be forever daylight here. It will be naught but the tyranny of my sister under the blazing hot sun. And the kind old woman says, but that is not our concern. And she looks at the two of you and she says, thank you. And the two of them disappear. And as soon as they disappear, the sun is hot in the sky. Full noon daylight.
Shee.
Uh,
Talia, I think you may have been right.
well, a little late now. The idol's not, is the idol still here?
No, it's a charred, it's
Yeah.
charcoal.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna, we need to figure out which of these paths is gonna get us back to the tree, like now.
There. Well, are we
Big-
able to see the other
Oh,
path from the cabin?
Yeah, there
yeah,
are
I'm
three.
gonna climb up to the roof.
Yeah, there are two paths. You can definitely see that you just need to go south and you'll reach the wall.
Okay,
Problem.
well, we're
Um,
gonna move quickly.
on the way there, Rose wants to take that pie if it's still on the sill.
You can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you walk south down the path. You eventually see the tree in the distance, the tree growing over the wall. As you're making this journey, you hear louder the working song being sung all around as people work the wheat. And you reach the tree with the little door in the roots. Your egress from this place. Do you leave?
I think we've meddled enough in things that we don't know about.
I take a last glance around to see. I have my hand on the door and I take a last glance around to see if Masha is anywhere in sight.
Yes. You see Masha in the distance, bent over her labors, cutting wheat. She looks over at you and gives a small, sad smile, and then goes back to work.
Mm. Are we both thinking about just scooping her and running?
I think if we step backwards, we will not be able to move through the door.
Mm-hmm. At least not without a certain pheasant trying to stop us.
Yeah. I think
Rose,
it's probably a better. We know the way back. We need to find another way to rescue her. This is not going back as we are will not help her.
which would be a good reason for us to keep the farm while we try to study up and find a way to break their bonds. So, yeah, Rose opens the door and steps through.
There's a short passage. As soon as you touch the door, you find yourself in this passage. And on either side of you are little tables with strange little goblin-like creatures taking tea. They nod at you as you walk by. And then
Nod back.
You reach the other side of the door, or the other side of the hall where there's a door. You touch that door and you end up back on the Plotnikovs' farm on the non-fairy side of the wall. It is quiet. It is peaceful. There is the sound of bird call, the sound of crops blowing in the warm wind chimes, and weather vane moving in the breeze. And that concludes Where the Wheat Grows Tall. You each have 3 gold apiece for the treasure, the soldier's treasure that you found. Normally we would do Hearthfire, but we're running out of time. So maybe if we play these characters again, we'll do it then. But for now, let's just go straight to, actually, we'll just skip Hearthfire and just meet your burdens as you need to. So go ahead and just erase an amount of gold to meet your burdens. And then if we ever see these characters again, and we'll deal with the rest. But for now, congratulations, Where the Wheat Grows Tall is over.
Man.
And let's do our quick stars and wishes. So stars, things you enjoyed. Wishes are things that you might have hoped to see had you done other things differently, or if we do come back to these characters at some point, what you hope happens. Whoever wants to go, take it away.
I'll give a star for the best kind of horror adventure where you get everything you wanted at a cost you really didn't want to pay.
Yeah, you condemned all these people to, like, you essentially condemned them to work ceaselessly for the nude lady, right?
Well, not just that, but we ended up we decimated all the soldiers we could have
That's
rescued.
true too. Yes, that whole side story went really south.
Yep, we didn't restore balance to the wheat.
You lost
and
Tove.
We left I mean, I don't know what the kindly old woman would have become if she wasn't kindly anymore, but theoretically that would have been the consequence of putting the idol back. So yeah, everything we wanted at a cost that's seemingly too high to pay, because we got a shit ton of gold out of that.
And like, yeah, it is very interesting that we're not directly the ones paying that cost. I guess a star for me with this adventure is it's over, and I feel like a worse person because of it. Which
like
is
I said,
fun.
The best kind of horror.
I guess a wish for me is just kind of maybe rolling better on some of those things, like saving the soldiers and seeing like what that would have been about, or like seeing what restoring balance could have been like. But you know, I am pretty satisfied with the choices we made.
Had you opted to put the idol back, it would have restored balance, and basically the wheat field would have been like stopped being hostile. The noon lady would have gone back to her idol, and that been that. But you'd have to fight the old woman. The old woman you'd have to do battle with her. So
she seems tough too. So
yeah, you would have gotten the less kind version of the kindly old woman. But yeah, star for me. I really loved it. I had a great time for the whole series, not just today. I thought it worked out great. We got to see like so much of you got to see great. You didn't see everything, but you saw pretty close to everything in this module, which I think is always fun. And I just like this sort of, I like the module a lot. It just has a really good vibe. The Fae horror, the folklore, it all comes out really strongly. I thought you all did a great job with your characters and characterization and sort of making those strategic choices as far as the things go. So yeah, I really had a good time. Any other stars or wishes?
I think as far as a wish, I mean, it wasn't an idle thought. I think Talia would have really liked to help Masha, but she really did feel like there's everything we met in there. Talia felt like there's literally nothing we could do about it. They, I mean, we broke the we broke the hold of the spirit on the scarecrow minion, but that wasn't a power here. The scarecrow didn't seem like a power in this place. All of the powers in this place were way beyond us. So we need something like the old magic to come in here and do anything about this. And as far as a wish goes, I think Talia's wish would be, it would be nice to find something to help these people or to fix the situation.
Yeah, I like the idea of like this being like an ongoing home base for the characters, you know, like you stay on the farm and try to like work on the farm and figure it out. It's a pretty good
Well,
idea.
the thing that would make us work a little harder is whether or not that iron key is actually required.
Oh, for the granary. Yeah.
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 So
Honestly, my wish is kind of like along that line as well. Rose's drive specifically is free the serfs of Bandung Prefecture, and it seems like
Yeah.
her hand kind of made more serfs.
Yeah, I
So-
was thinking about that a lot as this was all going on. I was like, my gosh, I was like, they're very, very close to like doing the exact opposite of the spirit of Rose's Drive. Yeah.
No, straight up, yeah. So Rose definitely has a lot. I can see her having a lot of guilt and wanting to follow Talia and helping them as well in the future. So
Well, this was great. I don't think I have anything else other than just, yeah, I really enjoyed this. Had a good time. I'm sad we didn't get to see Tove at the end, but that's okay. And yeah, it was good fun, and the module was really fun. Had a good time with it. So it was nice to play with you for the first time, Jake, and it's always nice to play with you, Merlin. And I think that's it for me.
sounds great.
yeah, thanks for running.
Yeah, you're
thank
very
you.
welcome. I'm gonna hit stop on the recording.